Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BJ Coleman, and you're watching another episode of Image Elevators with BJ Coleman. I'm your host, BJ Coleman. And today we have a very special guest, one of my all-time favorite actors and models of all time. You probably know him from Tyler Perry's hit BET series, Bruh. Welcome to the show, Mahdi Cocci. How are you, Mahdi?
Good to see you, man.
Always good to see you. You're fresh off of vacation.
Yeah, well, a little bit of vacation, a little bit of work, but I've been doing some traveling. Yeah.
What work have you been doing?
So we have some land in Costa Rica. We meaning me and three of my buddies / business partners, and getting ready to develop on it. We want to start out with a couple of like rental homes.
Okay.
And then we have 80 acres, so there's a lot of potential, and we don't know exactly what we want to do, but right now we know what we want to start with.
So it was kind of a vacation, but kind of work.
Yeah, well, there was work down there, but then I also visited a buddy in Panama, so I spent some time. I'd never been to Panama City. I saw the Panama Canal.
I've never been either.
And I'm a Navy guy, so it's kind of cool. I've never sailed through the Panama Canal because most of my sailing was done like Western Pacific. I never like crossed over from the Pacific to the Atlantic, that's where they do that in Panama Canal. But it was kind of cool to see that. There's a great documentary that's showing in the IMAX there at the canal, which is narrated by Morgan Freeman. That's like talking about the construction of it and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
pretty
interesting.
impressive.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I know you as a model and actor, but are you telling me you have this kind of side venture that you're doing or that you have going on? I also know that you have a jewelry company.
Yes.
So, what do you do?
Well, ultimately, I guess, I'm an actor. Like, I love acting. I've been modeling since I was 16 years old, so that's still within me. But ultimately, I have interests, other interests, and I've got good friends of mine too that I like to go into business with people that I trust and know, and also the Costa Rica venture. It's something that I like the idea of traveling. You know what I mean?
Me too.
It's something I'm interested. So what's attractive to me more than like a money making venture is just like we have a play. All of us, like the four of us that are involved right now, is like we like the idea of like, well, we have a place to duck off to in Costa Rica once we develop on this land. So yeah, we're gonna rent it out when we're not there, but like it's not so much like we want to make a ton of money. I mean, we do, but it's like the worst that can happen is we have a place in Costa Rica, even if like nobody's renting.
So you have land and you're building on it, or you investing in a property that's already exists?
Correct. We have land and
you're building on it.
Yes.
And there are a lot of American expats in Costa Rica, and a lot of people say that Costa Rica is probably one of the most accessible in terms of affordability and lifestyle for Americans to retire. I've never been to Costa Rica, but my goal is to go down there and check it out, because I would love to retire in the islands.
Listen, it's beautiful. I mean, a lot of people haven't really spent much time. Well, the cool thing about it is, yeah, you said the accessibility from the United States. Like it's in Central America, and you've got like, I guess it's easier from the East Coast. From Cali, it's about 6 hours.
Yeah,
from
all the Caribbean is easier from the East Coast.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So but it's they got all kind of wildlife. That's why a lot of people go. They got great surfing. They got like great fishing. The first time I went fishing a few years back with some friends of mine, and you're catching mahi and tuna, and like we had one of those charters, and like they sashimi it up right there on the boat for you. We had like some poke right there on the boat, and then brought a bunch of fish home. Like it's just pretty cool. At home meaning to like where we were staying.
Right,
there.
Of course.
Didn't bring it back to the States. But.
And did you were there for vacation at that time?
Yes.
And was that the impetus for you to want to invest in property there? Or?
Yeah, well, it was something where like it was things kind of have they're like cyclical in a way, or right now I feel like is a good time. And a buddy of mine, he had actually purchased the land 7 years ago, and it wasn't the time then to start the development project, right? And then as kind of, if you just look at popularity. I don't know when you started hearing about it as like a retirement destination, but kind of if you start to even like going down to Orange County right now, a lot of Orange County folks are taking vacations there for bird watching and stuff like that. So when you follow like trends, and not following, but just when you're paying attention, you're like, oh wow, like this is kind of trending more than it was 7 years ago. You know
Well, I don't follow the trends. I set them, but
you're the guy.
But obviously you're setting them too with this
You
new
know.
venture. That's interesting that you have this side venture because, you know, you've done some television, you've done some film. Is the goal for you to reach Brad Pitt status?
Well, I mean, listen, like that would be beautiful. Obviously, I mean, big fan of Brad Pitt and his work and his whole career. But I think that, you know,
I mean, by Brad Pitt, I mean, I don't mean to single him out. I just mean like, is the goal for you as an actor or model turned actor to become an A-list star? Or are you happy with what you're doing and doing television and movies here and there and then having your side investment, your side jobs?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I say. I am very, like, of all the things I've ever done to earn money, acting has been my favorite one, you know? So I'm always grateful, and it might sound like I maybe set the bar low, but I'm always grateful to like be able to do this and get paid to do it, you know? So, you know, we always like new challenges, both just artistically and creatively, and then, you know, also like, you know, leveling up in terms of, you know, income and all that. But I don't know that A-list was ever a goal of mine. It's more so like make a comfortable living doing this and enjoy it because I enjoy it so much. You know what I mean? I really do like love. It's like any day I feel like I'm working on a set is a good day.
Right.
So yeah. But then there's other things that I'm interested in, and it's also, I mean, I think a lot of people will echo the same sentiment. The challenge of the industry, like film and TV and modeling and everything, it's like you have this, it's a wonderful way to make money when you're making it. But like when there's a slowdown or a lull in the action, it's not great. It's like kind of painful. You know what I mean? Like whether you're talking COVID or there was just a strike and,
right.
you know, all these kind of things. So,
or just not, you know, a lack of work.
Just straight lack of work, right? Which,
right.
you know, things come in waves.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, so much stuff's happening. You got to turn down jobs because there's only one of you and there's too many projects. And then sometimes you're like, no calls, no nothing.
Right.
So relying upon the industry for a paycheck to pay your rent is never comfortable. Because when it's good, it's great. But when it's not, then it's like, you kind of feel like a fish out of water in a way. So the idea for me, at least, and I think a lot of my counterparts that I talk to, is like figure out ways to have income streams to where you're not just reeking of the stench of desperation for every job, every audition, every opportunity. You know, it's like, hey, I would love to do this, but it doesn't make or break whether or not I can like eat and pay rent for this job.
But you don't have to drive Uber on this side, which is not bad.
Thankfully,
some people do.
You know, I mean, and I've driven tons of Uber. You know what I mean? Like thankfully, I don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
But like, I drove a lot of Uber. I delivered meals. You know what I mean? Like, I did all the little hustles.
Yeah, but no matter what profession you're in, I think most money advisors and money people will tell you that, you know, it's best to have multiple streams of income.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Exactly.
You know, even, you know, me as an entrepreneur, or, you know, whether I'm entrepreneuring or I'm in-house, I try to figure out ways where I can generate more streams of income as opposed to just one, because you never know. I mean, everything is fickle these days.
It's true.
Right.
It's true. And that's even like, you know, having the venture in Costa Rica, it's like, well, hey, I mean, you know, as we know, things are fickle governmentally, politically, you know what I mean? So even the idea of having another country to be in as a backup or another option is always something I like.
Do you have to, is Costa Rica an American province? Or,
no.
So do you have to get like how easy is it to go down there and buy something?
It's fairly easy to buy something. I'm not sure of all the rules about like residency.
You're not?
I'm not sure
Because you
what it
just
takes
bought
for
land
residency.
there. So
Right, but I mean, I'm not at this point. I'm not looking to become a resident, but
right.
you know, I don't know.
So you can own something obviously and not be a resident.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You can own it and profit off it, all that, and just everything.
And what does that entail?
Pay
If you don't mind
taxes
me
there.
asking, I'm just curious.
For
Like, what does it entail? Like, do you have to? Is it as easy as purchasing something here as if you were in America? Like, do you have to have certain kind of? Obviously, you have to have certain assets, but like because it's a foreign land, like what does that entail, if anything?
If
you're able to share,
from what I understand, is they don't do. It's not as easy to get financing. So here you get financed on everything, right? Mostly, right? That's how a lot of people operate,
right? And is it the same there?
The financing isn't as easy. So a lot of American buyers are buying things cash, but it's an opportunity. That's the thing. In the United States, let's say you have $500,000. Not a lot you can do with that if you're talking about property.
Probably in Costa Rica with $500,000.
You know what I mean? $500,000 can legitimately get you some land with a nice piece of property on it that can generate some income, whether you want to rent it or whatever. So there are options with that amount of money.
You're barely getting a 1-bedroom in Los Angeles for $500,000.
I mean, I know. Yeah, I don't even know if you are actually. I don't know.
Trust me, I know.
And that's the thing. It's so cost prohibitive to like try to do anything in the investment space. You might be able to live in a place for $500,000, not in the city proper, right? Like maybe you go out into the outskirts or So that's what's nice about as an investment opportunity. So you can do it with cash without having to finance, or I guess everyone can have cash if you got a lot of it.
Right.
But there's a reasonable amount of cash you can have and invest in something and do it like that. So I'm not really aware of like the financing and all that, but I'm glad that.
So you went down there with some cash. I see.
Trying to do something with a little bit of what I got.
Life is good. I hear you.
Before I spend it all.
No, I understand. So when you say that acting is your favorite way to make money,
yes,
but you didn't start out as an actor, you started out as a model.
Yes.
And so how did you transition from, because I get so many young, particularly male actors or models or want to be both, who ask me, oh, how do I get into modeling? Or if I'm modeling, how do I transition from modeling to acting? I had Lamone Archie. Do you know Lamone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, a former client of mine. He was on last season and he kind of talked about that. But for you, what was your route in your path? Like, how did you turn modeling into a successful career as an actor?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, and obviously the pathways are different in this. Like everyone's going to have a different path. But, I think that what enabled it for me, the biggest thing that helped me build an acting career was I relocated from from Los Angeles to Atlanta.
Where were you born?
I was born in Minnesota.
You were born in Minnesota?
Yeah. I started modeling there.
In Minnesota, like in the malls?
Yeah, in high school. And actually, like from Minnesota, my agent in Minnesota was a hustler.
Were you discovered or did you go pursue an agency?
So I was discovered by this agency in Minneapolis, but he was...
How were you discovered? Walking down the street?
He was moving and shaking at a restaurant.
You at a restaurant and someone just came up to you, 6'2",
so I worked,
young guy.
So I was a busboy.
Ah, okay.
And at first I was like...
What restaurant can you say?
It's called Ciati's. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. It's like an Italian restaurant.
Got it.
But he was like, when you're young, you don't really trust a lot of things, I guess, especially being from Minnesota. It's not like here. Like you from here, maybe the
here being Los Angeles.
Here being Los Angeles, the industry's all around you. Whereas like
we have viewers worldwide, so they don't know where here is.
Good point. Good point. Whether it be Los Angeles, New York, these major cities, I feel like people are used to these professions. But being from Minnesota, it's like, hey, like, come down to the agency. Like, I think you could be a model. I'm just like, what is he talking about? But what was interesting is a buddy of mine had told me that before, that, hey, like, he's like, he hadn't seen me for a couple of years. Like, yo, you look like a model. Like this was like in high school. I hadn't seen him since like maybe middle school. And he just like looked at me. He's like, you look like a model. I was like, shut up, bro. Like, let's, whatever. And then hearing it again kind of was like a little bit of confirmation. Like, oh, maybe I should pursue this, check this out. So I went down to the agency in Minneapolis and took some Polaroids and just got started. And honestly, like I feel like I had a catalog job probably within the next like couple weeks, you know? He's like, hey, like we got a job for you. It was for a Finger Hut catalog. And it was like, it's paying like, I'm pretty sure the rate was like $187.50 an hour. I just have that in my head. And I was like, dude, like, you know, I was working at McDonald's in high school, you know what I mean? So I was making $5.15 an hour was my salary or my hourly.
Minimum wage back then.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, on $187.50 an hour. So I like, and it was only like it was 1 hour of work, but I had to like leave school early, drive to the job, did the hour, and then like came back to school. So like,
it was easy. It
was easy. And I was like, this is a nice little thing. And then,
because you got to work a full weekekend to get $187 at $5.
Dude, $187.50 will take you some places, you know? I mean, minus your commission and whatnot. So that was the origins. And then that agent was a hustler. He, Tekken and John, Tekken was his name, and Nathan. They were like the two guys ran this agency, and they were like submitting me to New York. So they got me with a New York agent just off Polaroid. So I didn't know anything. I didn't even understand what was happening. So like, oh, we got you this New York agent. I was like, cool, you know.
Right.
And then like that agent got me like Polaroids over to Bruce Weber. So I got like flown out to do Abercrombie at the time. So all this stuff was happening kind of fast out of Minnesota. It was great, you know, it was like awesome. And, you know, and then, but you don't know what you don't know. So I didn't really understand the magnitude of what was happening. I was just like, oh, sure, you tell me to go do a job, like I'll show up, you know. But then it was like I didn't have the mobility to kind of pursue some of the stuff. I was going to college. I was in Pittsburgh going to college, and they wanted me to be in New York. And I'm like, well, like.
And why did you decide to go to college? Why didn't you just go to New York and continue modeling?
You know, I was raised like, our mom really was about like education, you know? So it was kind of a foregone conclusion, you know? And I'm from the era too, where I feel like you had to go to college or you're just kind of like not legitimate, you know? Like, I think now it's changed a bit with like the way the world, and there's all these ways to make money with the internet. But back then it was sort of like, you either go to college or you're a complete degenerate. I know I'm being a little, you know, exaggerating, but that was kind of the mindset, at least the way I was raised. It's like, oh, I mean, unless you're just some kind of, you know, high school dropout, you got to go to college. So, and then I got a scholarship. I had an ROTC scholarship to college. So it was one of those things where I didn't want to just look opportunity down and disregard it, you know? So I said, well, I got to take this opportunity, but I can do both, can't I? But I was a little naive in understanding what that would take. So, yeah, needless to say, I was like, I burned some bridges in the modeling world early.
To go to college, to choose a career.
Somewhat, you know, because I was blowing off opportunity. They had opportunities for me to meet, like, you know, they're like, hey, like Calvin Klein himself wants to meet you for the new campaign. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? Like, well, you need to be in New York. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to get there? And they're kind of like, what do you mean? Just get here. I'm like 18 years old. I don't know how to get out. I haven't got money. It was like, you know what I mean? And they're looking at me like, all right, bro, you don't want this. Like, you know, so, but at the time I didn't understand what that would even, the magnitude of that.
What did you major in at Pittsburgh?
Economics.
So you have a degree in economics.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you worked with Bruce Weber, who has come under a lot of fire for his reputation with models. What was your experience like working with him?
Mine was fine. I mean, like, you know, so the thing about Abercrombie is there's a bunch of dudes, right? And girls, but there's like more dudes. So I think there was like 30 models, give or take. And maybe it was like 18 guys, so 12 you were in a group campaign, give or take. Yeah.
You weren't in a solo campaign? Or did you do some solos?
No. I mean, you know, they take some pictures, but it's like, of course, everyone's just there.
Right.
And they're just like, so it's like a zoo. I didn't realize that was a rude awakening sort of to the industry. I was 17. I wasn't even 18 yet, which may have been why I didn't have any kind of. Why was it
a rude awakening?
The rude awakening came that like when I showed up, it's like all these models are jockeying for position because, you know, you got Bruce Weber here And
And for those people that don't know, Bruce Weber is a legendary photographer. He's like Patrick de Marchelier. He's like Herb Ritts. He certainly has
right.
reigned during those times of those legendary photographers. He shot
Yes.
Abercrombie. He shot
He shot
Polo,
Armani,
a lot of the
a lot of
Armani. He
Polo,
does a
yeah.
lot of fashion campaigns.
Yeah.
He's a big.
Yeah, so
at one point, he was a very important guy, but he came under a scandal, having been accused of inappropriate behavior with some models. And so that's why I'm
Yes.
asking you if you experienced any of that specifically with him or at all along
So
the course
me,
of your
no,
career.
I didn't. And one, I mean, I was the youngest guy on the shoot at the time. Like I said, there was like 30 models on the shoot. I was the only one that was under. I was 17.
And when you say that people were, vying for position, what were they doing?
You name it. I mean, it was just
No,
like
I can't name it because I wasn't there. So you name it.
But okay, so the idea was, okay, we're doing this, it was the winter, yeah, like holiday season campaign, so like fall type of activities.
And this is at the peak of Abercrombie. I'm sure.
Yeah. This is when it was like, the malls, like Abercrombie was super lit at the time. And I mean, so Bruce Weber, so they had some like designed shots, like, okay, we're going to shoot this here, we're going to do this here. But then a lot of it was like Bruce would just walk around and there's all these models and they're doing random things. Like there might be like a soccer ball. So then these models over there kicking around a soccer ball. He's like, oh, I like this. And he's going over there and he's snapping them. And then this guy. So, I mean, guys were climbing trees. You know what I mean?
So just when you say they were vying for position, they were just doing the most to see and be seen.
Doing the most to be seen.
And that's in every industry.
Every industry.
But I would imagine it's super heightened in the fashion or modeling industry.
Yeah.
So what did you do to stand out, not necessarily at the Abercrombie shoot, but just in general that has helped you advance your career without compromising your morals or, and to become an actor? Going back to my original question, I still want to know how you transitioned from modeling to acting.
Oh, true.
But how have you been able to stand out in such a way where, I think you're very calm and humble and understated, but I think you're also very striking, so it's hard to miss you. So how were you able to stand out aside from just being looking the way you look?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one to answer because I've never been a look at me guy too much. So I kind of more like to observe and see, like in the Abercrombie situation. I was just kind of like watching everybody else. I was like, I'm not doing all that. Like, I'm just kind of over here, But I think that like time on target has been a big thing. It's like, there's an old expression, stick and stay and you'll get your pay. And I've kind of adhered to that credo a little bit because I was.
Stick and stay and you'll get your pay. What does that mean?
It means like there's a lot, it's a war of attrition. And a lot of guys leave. A lot of guys like, they give up, and it understandably so. I mean, you get to a point and you're like, okay, I mean, who wants to be out here spinning wheels, broke or whatever it may be. So yeah, I think that, because I've seen guys, right? Like guys that were in acting class with me, and then you see them later, and they're, oh, I'm doing something completely different, like not acting, or old models doing something completely different. But I kind of just was like, this is something I want to do. And I've had years where I didn't have the dedication and, but because I stuck with it, then I was able to kind of recover. And once I matured as an individual and got to a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I can't just be out here pretending anymore. I need to actually put the time in, the effort in to improve at this, especially with the acting for me. That was the main thing. I was like, I was super insecure about my abilities in acting. Mm-hmm. So I would go to class and then not be good in class. I'd be like the worst in the class. So then I'm trying to find a way out of it. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna skip class or stop going or whatever. But sticking with it, then I kind of started to see improvements over time.
So you made a decision at some point, or were you advised at some point to pursue acting?
Sort of advised. I mean, it's kind of the natural progression from modeling.
Is the natural progression? Because I know some models who are good friends of mine who are like in their 40s, dare I say in their 50s now, and still modeling, still getting Peloton ads, or still playing now instead of playing instead of being an Abercrombie model, they are in commercial modeling and paying the dad in bank commercials or in McDonald's commercials, which is still very lucrative jobs.
Sure.
So is that the natural progression, or is that just a progression? And then there's some people who I'm sure who are modeling in their 20s and got caught up and might be, and I know some that are in rehab now. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the natural progression. It is a progression, I think.
It's a progression.
And it's a choice.
And when I say natural progression, I mean kind of like a lot of guys do it. So then it becomes like whether or not, because at the time it wasn't so much that I had a desire to do it. It was more like, oh, well, that makes sense. That's industry adjacent. So let me kind of pursue that, I guess, right? Because I didn't know much. And then I quickly realized, oh, this didn't come as easily as modeling started off for me. This is like growing pains and it feels icky. And all right, let me go back to modeling because it's more comfortable, So I did that number for a while.
The back and forth.
Yeah. Where I was like, I wasn't really dedicated to the pursuit of that. But really what ended up happening was I found a class, a class that I was training that really reinvigorated my desire to do it. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, yeah, I really do. Like, I love the aspect of this that is, sharing these human stories, because I'm most fascinated with human beings. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I'm most interested in. So yeah, this is, so that reinvigoration of the desire, then I was like, okay, I can keep just getting better at this. And this, zero credits, no agent at the time, but I'm like, okay, I'm chipping away at I'm like kind of chiseling away at this skill, getting a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And then eventually a good friend and mentor of mine, who became a good friend and mentor, taught me about the opportunity in Atlanta. And then I relocated there with no credits, but
from Los Angeles,
from LA. And that's when I started, I guess you could say, professionally acting, because I was able to get an agent out there. So once I had an agent, then I started auditioning. And then because I was doing that, I was getting better at it from doing it more. And the mentor of mine ended up, his name's Jimmy. He was living in LA, but he booked a job that was filming in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I would like tape my auditions with him, and he's like, whipping me into shape, teaching me essentially how to audition. And then eventually, you book something. I booked Dynasty, my first small part. I was a cop on Dynasty. So I'm like, okay. Like, it was kind of nice to have, that first one is so meaningful because you have like all this time. There's like 12 years of like me saying, okay, I'm going to try that transition that you talked about from like modeling to acting. And then like 12 years later, I'd get my first paid credit to do that, right? So,
do you get recognized on the street?
More than I would expect, actually.
More than you would expect. Do you consider yourself a sex symbol?
I mean, I don't know. Like, not really. I mean, I guess I still see myself more like anonymous, but that's why it's like more than I would expect. Because, shout out to the Tyler Perry show, Bro, that I'm on, but it was like, there's a niche audience, right? So I'm like, I don't know. It's not like a Game of Thrones or something like that. Right. But like, surprisingly, almost like every time I'm at the airport, I get recognized. It's like certain places I go, I could get, somebody says, hey, you're on Bro. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as an actor? Do you see yourself as a model? Do you see yourself as an athlete? Because I know you live in the gym, and I want to talk to you about your gym routine as well and how important that is to you. But how do you see
I definitely
yourself?
See myself as an actor. Yeah, I'd say an actor more than the other two. More
than a model?
More than a model or an athlete.
And but what about a businessman?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an actor more than I'm a businessman. I'm a lightweight. I'm trying to foray into some business, like I have some interests, but I'm not Mr. Business by any means. Mm-hmm.
And this, and I ask you that because this is Image Elevators. So we try to get people to talk about, their image, how they manage it, and hopefully it translates to the audience to help them better manage their image. But I do know that you live in the gym. So how important is going to the gym? What is your routine? Are you there 5 days a week, 4 days a week, 7 days a week? For how long?
Um, Probably about 5 to 6, about 5 to 6 days a week. And I got
And for how long?
let's say like an hour and a half. I got a group of guys that I work out with, though.
So you're in
it's community.
But you're in the gym an hour and a half, 6 days a week.
Yeah, at least.
At least.
I'd say, yeah, at least.
So sometimes 7 days a week.
Well, sometimes I'll do like a 2-a-day. So what I'll do is like if I'm in the gym, maybe for like that hour and a half lifting weights, but then I might go back and do like a running class or like,
But the average person cannot go 2 times a day. Do you recognize that this part of your job is to be fit and healthy, or is this just something that you incorporate into your regular lifestyle?
A little bit of both. I think that like, I like the idea of being active and just, in shape more than I like the gym aspect of it. But for me, gym is community now. Because I've always cared about being in shape and physique, but I've been able to kind of pull that off without, for a lot of my career, I've been able to have a decent physique without really having to do the gym. I would do other things like run or whatever. But then, I guess maybe with age and time, it's like, it's harder to maintain musculature with just running and not really hitting the weights. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna start hitting the weights. I'm gonna start doing this. And then I met a good group of guys. Well, not met them, but like we have like a community now. So now the joke is I go to the gym really just to like hang out with my buddies, and we get a workout in by chance when we go in. Because I really don't like lifting. It's kind of like, I don't really like it that much. I like running because I feel like I'm a runner. Like have a competitive nature in running. So I like the idea of getting faster. But lifting, I don't really care that much about getting stronger so much, but I do care about like looks, like aesthetics, right? So it's like, that's why I like to lift, or that's why I do lift, not because I like it. But what I like about it is like, now we kind of got a accountability group. It'd be like 3-4 of us. It's like, okay, cool. What time? We're going to meet at 10. Okay, cool. Like, boom, we all show up, talk some crap and get a workout in.
Where's your favorite place to close a deal?
Ooh, it's a good question. I guess probably like lunch, dinners, especially at certain like hot spots in LA, like they play like music and things like that. And maybe it's because I'm getting older. Like I just don't like a lot of loud noise in my ambiance.
Do you have a favorite lunch spot that you go to?
I like Dialogue. Dialogue Cafe.
Never even heard of it.
It's on Holloway, like where Sunset meets Holloway.
Oh, near Holloway House.
Yeah, not far from Holloway House at all.
Are you a Soho House member?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, I've got some friends that are, so I've gone a good handful of times, but I never actually tried to get a membership.
You've mentioned aging a couple of times. Do you discuss your age? You don't have to, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm gonna be 45 in like a month and a half. So.
I'm gonna be 45 as well. But with that being said, what has been the, as someone who works out and as someone who is, whose job is to look good, what has been the most difficult thing in aging?
Like recovery, injuries and recovery is a thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully I just, I was skiing in March earlier this year, 2025. And I tore my MCL. Like I twisted it and tore my MCL completely. And I haven't had too many like bad injuries.
I think skiing is so dangerous.
Skiing is dangerous.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times and I enjoy it. It's very enjoyable.
It's fun.
But I can't do it. I'm not doing it at 45 anymore. I've given it up.
Here's the thing about it. It's so much fun, and I picked it up as an adult. So it gives me the opportunity to improve at a thing. Like for example, basketball, running track, things that I did as a youngster, I'm never going to be as good at this age. Like I'm never going to run as fast as I once ran. I'm never going to high jump as well as I once high jumped. I'm never going to like play basketball as well as I once played basketball. But like the cool thing about a sport like skiing that I picked up as an adult is like everyday skiing is kind of like the potential to be my new best day skiing. So I understand why people pick up golf and tennis and things like that later in life that you can still improve at. So even though there's some danger involved, I guess, in the skiing, and I don't do I'm not crazy like going backcountry, like really risking my life, in my opinion. I just like the feeling. It's like freeing,
I
just
agree.
like going down the hill, hitting nice carves on the groomed terrain. What's that again?
Until you hit a tree or you tell your MCL or whatever.
Yeah. Then that's not fun. I don't recommend that. Don't do that. But have fun doing the carves. Don't twist your knee though.
Yeah.
But I'm recovered though, so I didn't need surgery, and I'm recovered. Great. But that's the thing. With age, you know, like the recovery is a different thing. I used to be able to like not run for like 6 months and then still go out there and run pretty well. Now it's like if I haven't run for 6 months, like I'm feeling that run.
Yeah, tell me about it. If I don't go to the gym for 2 days, it's like it's struggle getting back into it.
Right? It's a different. So I'm like,
I can't go more than like a day or two without the gym.
But isn't it weird though? Because like in your mind, doesn't it feel like it shouldn't be that way? It feels like it should be like when you were younger. That's how I feel.
But I still feel very young.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I still feel very young, but my body will do things that will remind me that I'm not. Even my mind will.
I know. It's like, why?
Yeah.
So that's but again, I'm grateful. I mean, I still relatively healthy. I'm still like relatively athletic. So I'm grateful for all that. But yeah, you can feel where it takes its toll differently than it once did, right?
What does your self-care routine consist of?
I do like, I use like a moisturizer on my face, I don't do a ton of things, but
do you get facials?
No. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a facial.
But are you mindful about what you eat?
Yeah, I eat I feel like I eat pretty solid. I just don't really like eating garbage. I don't have like a strict diet, but I don't really like eating a lot of just, junk food.
So when was the last time you had like French fries?
I'll eat fries.
I'm not saying you don't eat them. When's the last time you've had them? Probably can't remember.
No, let me think. I think I had some fries probably on my trip. Probably maybe like 2 weeks ago.
And when was the last time you had potato chips?
Potato chips been a minute. I've had like tortilla chips recently, but potato chips, good minute. Right. Yeah, some months.
Do you purposely avoid them, or they're just not part of your diet?
Is it
hard to avoid them, or because for me it's hard to avoid.
I don't snack much.
You don't snack much.
That's what I realized.
How many times a day do you eat?
3.
You have 3 full meals a day?
Usually. Yeah, usually I'll do 3. I'll do like a breakfast in the morning. Then I'll eat like after the gym, and then probably one more meal in the day. Mm-hmm. And if I snack, really, I just snack cereal.
What cereal?
I like granola. Mm-hmm. Like I get like a granola or something. I like dense cereal. I like cereals that sink. I don't like nothing that floats, like those kiddie cereals. Never been my thing.
Granola, my goodness.
But yeah, like so like cereal ends up being a nice snack. I never really eat cereal in the morning. Mm-hmm. Cereal's like a midday snack, between meals, late night snack thing. But if I have a ton of snacks, I feel like I don't have great discipline if I like the snacks. Mm-hmm. So I'll just eat like the whole bag of whatever it may be. So generally at my place, I just don't really buy snacks.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't. I don't buy bread. I can. If I buy them, I'll eat them. So I just can't.
Yeah. So it's like certain things you just realize like, all right, this is the way I can manage that. Just I don't have snacks. So if I'm hungry, I got to either prepare a meal or like maybe have cereal or just wait, Yeah. I can't just like, eat a bunch of chips or a bunch of like crackers or all these like random snack pantry items. Like I just don't.
What is the best thing you've ever done for yourself?
I like that. You know what? I got corrective surgery on my eyes, and that still is a miracle, right? Because I used to wear contacts and glasses and whatnot.
Do. And I refuse to get it.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know how bad your vision is.
How long ago did you get it?
2007.
So that was what? Almost.
That's almost 20 years ago.
And you had no problems with it.
No problems with it, Now I got PRK.
What's that?
Instead of LASIK. I don't remember, perennial radial keratotomy. It stands
so you didn't
for something.
get LASIK.
I didn't get LASIK because I didn't like the fact that it damages the structural integrity of your eye, or it compromises it, I should say.
Yeah.
Whereas like, because the way somebody explained it to me was like, okay, if I cut my skin here and I fold it back, I put it together, it'll heal, but then you got a scar where you stitched it together. So that scar tissue is also on your cornea where they, LASIK, they flap it back, do the correction and flap it back down. But then there's microscopic scar tissue, which could potentially lead to some vision issues like haloing and whatnot.
Yeah, no, I've heard, and I think I know some people, whether they want to admit it or not, that have had that and have had complications. So yeah. I'm not a fan of it. See, I don't think it's been around long enough.
I'm with you. And that's why, again,
PRK though.
PRK, it's a longer healing process and more painful. And you can only do one eye at a time because it's longer healing. When you do the one eye, then it's like blurry for 2 weeks, and then you do the other eye. Because you do both, you're kind of like blind,
you can't
right?
See, yeah.
So, you don't have the wow. That's what the doctor actually said to me, because you don't have the wow factor of LASIK. Because LASIK is like 30 minutes later, you're like, whoa, I can see. You walk out of the office, doctor's office. Whereas like for me, I kind of suffered through that pain, but I'm happy. So sometimes you got to sacrifice for what you want in the future. And that's what, so to me, I'm like, PRK was a great investment. I recommend it to anybody. If you want to do LASIK, I guess, but for me, I chose PRK and I'm happy with it. 18 years later, yeah.
Yeah. My last question to you is, if there's anything in your life that you could redo or do over, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be anything, I guess. I'm just curious.
Redo or do over? Like knowing what I know now, or?
Yeah.
Man. High school was really fun for me. So I wouldn't necessarily like do it over in the sense of like trying to correct things. Maybe, sports wise in high school, like I had certain things like I wish I would have done like, better at the certain track meets or whatever. But it was just a fun time of like coming of age. So I have very fond memories of that time. So if I'm just looking at like reliving a time that was very kind of like meaningful and fun and exciting and all that, like, yeah, those high school years, like from 9th through 12th grade were, that'd be fun to do again.
There's so many things I wanted to ask you about that I don't have time for because we're kind of up with time.
So I know I sometimes get to just blabbing. So.
Yeah, you're quite talkative, but it's okay. It's good for a podcast. But I wanted to ask you about your name and how important that is to you. I wanted to ask you about race and how you identify or how that has played a role in your career. But unfortunately, we don't have the time.
Oh, man.
So you're going to come back maybe for season 3?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to, share some.
But it's so hard to even get you on the phone, let alone get you in the studio. So.
No, that's not true. All right. DJ, always, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to hold you to that because I have so many more things I wanted to ask you in terms of image and branding. So, but I appreciate you being here today. And where can people catch you? Is Bruh coming back for season 5?
At this point, it's not looking likely, unfortunately. So we've got 4 seasons out on BET Plus, so you can check that out. There's a new movie from Boots Riley who made Sorry to Bother You a few years back. It's called I Love Boosters, starring Keke Palmer and Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh,
and I'm going to be in that. I think it's coming out sometime next year. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah. So
yeah, until that comes out, they can always just keep watching my YouTube channel and keep watching your interview here.
100%.
Thank you so much, Mahdi. I appreciate you. You're the best. You guys, this is Mahdi Cocci. You're watching Image Elevators with BJ Coleman. You can catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts, or you can catch us on my YouTube channel, which is Image Elevators with BJ Coleman, and on the Alive Podcast Network. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.